Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, mate. Hey guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. You join me here once again back at Blakedown Car Company to film another one of their cars which they currently have in stock. And obviously today we have a MK7.5 Golf R back on the channel. I'm not actually sure if there has been a 7.5 on the channel since I sold my one back in 2019, but this one is drastically different to that because it's running a stage 2 software and it's also manual. So I think that's definitely fitting for today's weather. It's absolutely throwing it down, as you can tell. I'm getting absolutely drenched, but I'm super excited to get behind the wheel again of a MK7.5, and especially because it's manual and I have never driven a manual before. So yeah, let's get stuck in. So as you can see, this particular car is finished in Indian grey, a colour which I think suits the car really, really well. It was actually the second colour choice for mine when I was looking for one as well. Of course, I did go for a lapis blue car, of course the traditional Golf R colour, but I do think that Indian grey suits this car very, very well. You can see it's a 3-door. It's also got the Pretoria alloys as well. A very, very good spec. It's also running stage 2, so that's approximately 380 horsepower, up from the around about 300 stock from the 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo. Now, as well as the stage 2, it's got a number of other little bits and bobs on it as well, including the infamous R600 intake, a Remus non-res catback, a sports cat, and of course an upgraded clutch, to name a few. It's also sitting on 20mm lowering springs and spacers as well, so it sits really, really nicely. But this is going to be the first time I drive a MK7.5 Golf R since selling my one a couple of years ago, and it does look really good. You might actually notice there's a bright yellow one over there as well. That's a very rare colour, again for sale here at Blakedowns. Now actually, in the time of recording this particular car has been sold, so a big thank you to both Blakedown and the new owner for letting me carry on making this video. But as you can tell, there's a ton of hot hatches and other modified goodies here as well, so I'll leave all of Blakedown's info down in the description down below. But look at this car, looks absolutely stunning. It sits so well, and seeing something like this, you know, really makes me wish that I modified my one more, because it sits really well. I'm sure it sounds really good as well with the Remus non-res. And yeah, super, super excited to get it out on the road, albeit a miserable day. And to be honest, it is that miserable out here. I think I'm going to hop on board and get on with that right now, because as I mentioned as well, this is the first time driving one of these since I unfortunately sold my one. So let's hop in, take it out for a run and see what this thing is like with a manual running stage 2. Okay, this is really weird to be in one of these things again and to have a third pedal, but anyway, onto the road we go. You can definitely tell that it's got an uprated clutch, that's for sure. So here we are then, my first time back in a MK7.5 Golf R since I sold mine. I think it is anyway, it must be, surely. I mean, I know I've featured some MK7s since then, but I don't think I have any 7.5s, but regardless, I mean, everything in here is all very familiar, apart from this weird thing in the middle. I think Golf Rs in manual are actually quite rare, and generally speaking, they are cheaper than the DSGs, obviously, because not everyone wants a manual in a Golf R, because that's essentially why the GTI exists. But yeah, it's just so weird to be in one of these. And obviously I remember what they were like in DSG form and in stock form, but this is completely different. This is like so out there for what I'm expecting from this, and I can already tell that it's drastically different. The clutch is, you can definitely tell, like I said, that it's been upgraded because it's very heavy and you don't want to stall it. Actually, I'm going to use auto hold. Handy. Yes. Now, you guys may remember I drove the Stage 3 i30N from Blakedown as well. And the clutch was the same on that. Anyway, we'll just warm the car up a little bit, get a little bit used to it before we see what this thing is like. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Oh, why is there not more manual Golf Rs? I tell you what, this feels so much quicker than 380. Why is this car sold? Oh, man. This is so good. Oh, oh, mate. I'd swear this feels quicker than 380. Sounds insane as well. That exhaust with the Sports Cat, it's not, it's like, it's a deep tone, so it's not artificial or tinny really, because that's the biggest fear when upgrading an exhaust. And honestly, no, this sounds perfect. Similar to the Akrapovic in a way, but just good. I mean, it flies, absolutely flies. And the Golf R's stop, as I would know, are quick. I'm talking like 4 seconds to 60, just over 4 seconds. This being the manual, generally speaking, it's around half a second slower because you have to shift manually. But there's something about shifting manually on an extremely powerful car. It just goes so quick, so quick. It just works so well. You'd say, I mean, if you asked me maybe a couple of months ago saying thoughts on a manual Golf R, I'd say, yeah, cool, but why? Now I understand, and this is coming from the person who raves about GTIs being manual and then buys a DSG. So maybe I should do this the other way around, buy a manual Golf R and have a DSG GTI. I don't know. Either way, it works so well. And obviously, the MQB cars, in manual form, I'm talking S3, Golf R, the stock clutches are like butter. That is certainly something which is very common knowledge. When you're on it, when you're going through the gears, I mean, it's firm, but it's reassuringly firm. Because before, well, I wouldn't know, but I mean, they tend to go on stock powered, these generally. Not like I'm speaking from experience, but I've filmed multiple cars who have unfortunately gone through stock clutches shortly after buying the car in its stock form. But yeah, this is so good. Little third gear pull, 30 miles an hour. Oh, mate. Unbelievable. Now, there is actually a few other little mods which I haven't spoke about, which are on there. So you've got a set of NGK spark plugs and also a blow-off valve, which I'm not sure, I can't quite pick it up. I think that's mainly because the R600 and the turbo elbow, but it's got a blow-off valve. Now, for those of you who do follow me on Instagram, you will probably be aware of my kind of, how do I explain this? Basically, I've been looking at Golf Rs. It kind of started as a joke. I thought, I know, let's find whatever the cheapest Golf R is in the UK. What can you get them for? Turns out, 12 grand. Not too bad. They are in fact manual, generally the cheaper ones, like I was saying. And driving this now, knowing that what the capabilities are, yes, this is a 7.5 and the cheapest ones that are on the market are the pre-facelifts, the Mark 7s, but I'd be lying if I said it doesn't get you thinking, because this whole setup works very, very well. And I mean, I've experienced multiple modified manual Golf Rs. I think one which was running stage 2 around the 380-400 mark. It was a while ago, and I do remember really, really enjoying it, but then I still had the mindset of, well, not experiencing one and maybe thinking manual Golf R's a little bit funky, but it works really well. It really does, especially on a day like today when you think, oh no, it's raining, and you can still put the power down really very well. Very well indeed. So to be honest, at this stage it does beg the question, Luke, will you buy another Golf R? Will it be a manual Golf R? And to be honest, I think time will have to tell, because I do have the itch right now to build a track car. Now, courtesy of Blakedown, I did drive their stage 3 i30N, which they recently had in stock, and I did kind of ask myself the same question, mostly off camera. And I definitely think that a track car, well, providing we can actually do some track days this year, does need to happen. And a Golf R, it's very close to my heart, you know. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun in this. Lots of fun. So I guess time is going to have to tell with this, really. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. It would be a cool little project, really. Another one to go alongside the other two. Maybe wouldn't be the most logical car, really, but I mean, it just works. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, really, just being thrown the keys to a car and say, look, go and have some fun for an hour. It's so hard to compile all that information into one and kind of bring you guys a full video of kind of explaining everything to do with the car. I mean, oh, look at you, idiot, you just gone past the lay-by. Cheers. Why did I say thank you? Anyway, it's definitely opened my eyes to the capabilities of a manual Golf R, that is for sure. I did definitely almost turn a blind eye to them before, because having owned a DSG one for a year, I kind of thought, oh, that's the only option if you want brute power. And that's what most people do when they buy and modify these. They go for power. But manual is just cool. It's a dying breed. And I think you can't go wrong with any manual car nowadays, because let's be honest, they're really not going to be around much longer. And whilst they're around, you need to have fun. And anyone out there thinking of buying one of these, you're guaranteed fun, I can tell you that. It is an absolute riot. Just to be able to go through the gears, you know. And I am missing a manual in my life. I mean, I sold the manual GT86, and before that, the only other manual car I'd had was my first car, an Audi A1. So I definitely think that a manual car is missing, as well as a track car. So maybe we kind of combine that two together and make a manual Golf R track car. Oh dear. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day, give this car back to Blakedown, and then basically get it handed over to the new owner. And a massive congratulations to the owner of this, because you've got yourself one awesome car. Indium grey suits this car so well. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it was my first option. No, sorry, no, scrap that. It was my second option after Lapis Blue, and it works really well. It's sat on 20mm lowering springs. It's got spacers on it, and it's got some really tasteful modifications, because with these 2 litres, you can very easily go over the top. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I love over the top, but it's always nice to see a tastefully modified car. And this is definitely it. Definitely it. So yeah, like I said, a massive thank you to Blakedown and the current, well, the new owner of the car for letting me take it out for a little drive really today. And of course, even though this car is no longer for sale at Blakedown, I will leave their links down in the description down below. So yeah, go check them out if you're after something funky. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap things up from me today. But what an experience to, well, get back out in one of these things again, and also one which is a manual. Definitely some food for thought on my end. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like and make sure to subscribe for all the adventures still to come.